Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey guys, you know what? I've been saying I was going to do this for the longest time. Now that I've finally done it, I had left the great state of Texas and I've decided to uh, go nationwide as far as my podcast. So, hey, everybody, welcome Grounded Paranormal from Rochester, New York. How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
Going well.
Going good, man. Hey, you know what? It's an honor to have you guys on as my first out of state paranormal team. You guys are the first ones. I've never ever left the state of Texas until
That's
today.
nice.
Well, thank you
So,
for having us.
Yeah.
no, the honor is all mine. Thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? The young man in the back, hey, appreciate it, brother. You know, but hey, let's forget about me. Let's talk about you guys for a while. Tell me a little bit about Grounded Paranormal.
Well, we're based, as a team, we like to debunk before we prove anything. Uh, a lot of us have been skeptics into learning that there is otherworldly things out there. So some of us have been scratched, touched, and so we've had those experiences, which is, that's something that we're going to experience. We all have personal experiences in different areas and different locations with all the locations that we have been to. So, but
Cool. All right. Hey, you know what? How long you guys been doing this?
well, me and my husband have been doing it for many years, since the early to mid 90s. And my daughter decided to join in the last, 3-4 years, 5 years. It's been, wow, already. So, and then we've just grown the group from there. And, we've got the 6 of us that are, going out in locations now. So,
Cool. When I started doing this, most of my family members thought I was a fruitcake.
yeah. Yeah.
Do some of your family members feel the same way about you guys?
They're actually really supportive
Yeah,
of
they're very
all of
supportive.
it. So we haven't had that conflict. It's more of strangers that will come up to us. And most of the time it's in a positive way. But then we do have the negative side, where people will comment about what we do, and, but
You get both sides of the spectrum.
Yes, ma'am, you sure do. Now, let's talk about a little bit about the community. How did the community feel about you guys and what you do?
Again, a lot of people are supportive in our community. We do have other ghost hunters in our area,
Mm-hmm.
quite a few. And so, they see our truck because we have Ghost Hunter on our windshield. We have our, stickers on the sides of our truck. So people see us all over the place. And it's good advertisement. People see us at Walmart and they'll approach us and say, "Are you the ones that have the truck out there?" So right there, we get people, "Well, I need something done with my house." Well, we
Oh,
hand
wow.
them a card and we tell them, give us a call, and then we'll handle it from there. So, I mean, that's how we get a lot of people that kind of are like really are into what we do, and they're fascinated by it, even though it's something that they may not want to do themselves. So we get that too.
Now, how big is Rochester?
it's
Well,
a good size.
Rochester is very, very big, and we're about an hour south from that. We live an hour south from that, but we do the
Okay.
general area of, Western New York area. And we go down to Pennsylvania to Gettysburg every year for the Battlefield Bash.
We just got back.
Yeah,
Wow.
we just got back from that.
Wow. Okay. Now, the big problem that we have in southern states is that most of the towns and the cities are heavily uh, people are, they're Southern Baptists. They're heavy in the church.
Yeah.
It seems like the church always has something to say negative about what we do.
We kind of had that experience on our way down to Gettysburg. We stopped to grab lunch and we come out, and one of our teammates didn't realize until we were driving that there was a brochure and a CD all about Jesus. And we're like, well, here's the start of our trip.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a double-edged sword for them because these are the same people that if they have a problem, they're gonna call us. But yet they fear, and they don't understand on what we're doing. So it's kind of crazy on how that works for them.
But again, they're so spiritual,
Yeah,
yet we are doing the same work. We're just seeking out and helping people. We're helping families be comfortable with their homes, and locations that are haunted, and of course we pay for those to investigate, but we're trying to do it for the science. We're trying to get that science in there. And unfortunately that hasn't happened, and that's the biggest problem that we're having. Plus, you have YouTube, and you've got people editing their YouTube snaps, and it kind of ruins it for the people who are actually putting raw footage out there
right.
and showing people that this is what we caught. And there's always comments on, well, you faked it, or you put something in there, you edited the film. And honestly, that's not my belief. With my team, if there's something legit, we put it out there, and it's raw material. It's not edited at all, unless it's an audio and we have to just spike it up a little bit so you can hear it better. Other than that, any video, if it doesn't look like it could be evidence, it gets thrown out. Plain and simple.
The first thing you guys mentioned when you guys first came on the show is you debunk first, and I like that.
Yeah.
Because you guys go through everything and try to figure out, exactly, hey, is this like this? Is it like this? So you try to debunk it as you go, and most teams need to do that before they start putting out their videos, or their videos or photos or whatever that they do. It's trust me, there's a lot of people out there that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, editing, and trying to marketing all their stuff, and all that. But okay, hey, I got a couple of comments for you guys. Hey, Veronica Blackburn from San Antonio, Texas says hello.
Hello, Veronica.
John Lizard from Paranormal Paradise. Hi, Terry. How you doing? And Veronica says, I have an aunt in that's a Southern Baptist, and she hears it all the time in her preaching.
Yeah.
So you kind of imagine, man, what we got to deal with on a constant basis down here in Texas. Not just in Texas, but I just think in all the southern states.
Yeah, a lot of the southern states all have that conflict. They really do.
Yeah, and it's a big pain in the butt because the Catholic Church is into so much. I mean, they actually has their their foothold into so much things down here where it's just impossible to even try to investigate.
Right.
I mean, old abandoned hospitals the Catholic Church used to own, just old schools where bad things, it's just hard to get on the property because churches own them, and they don't, and they really don't want to be bothered with us, but it's kind of crazy. But what? There's a will, there's a way.
And we definitely, we always ask permission. If there's an abandoned building, we find out who the owner is and we ask permission. We never go in unannounced because we don't want to be trespassing. So
Right.
we always make sure that we ask the owner if we can approach the location.
Okay. Now, you said Rochester is a big, big, pretty big
It's
city.
Mhm.
Uh, how hard is it for you guys to investigate, or do you guys even investigate, the abandoned building type? Or you guys, what exactly do you guys do up there?
Well, we do a lot of the museums, like the Palmyra museums. We've also done Hinsdale a few times, Rolling Hills. We go to, people's homes, and a lot of cemeteries, because a lot of the cemeteries out here, we can get a lot of activity from. So, and especially with this one here, she's good with the dowsing rods, and she really
Ah,
keeps into it. So
okay.
she's my sensitive of the group, and she's building her gift. So she's doing really well with that. But yeah, our team, we pretty much go wherever.
I feel like
Wherever.
Rochester is very hard to investigate in because it is so busy
Yeah.
24/7. It's just not quiet enough
Mhm.
for us to do anything. We've done Mount Hope Cemetery that's out up there, and that's a massive cemetery. And honestly, for as big as it was we
still
didn't get
noisy.
anything.
And it was
Really?
noisy, yeah.
Wow.
We
That
investigated
is amazing.
for almost 6 hours.
We were there for quite some time, and we really didn't get much activity. We got some doing the Estes method, but other than that, it was really quiet.
Okay, so how many graves you say that's in that cemetery?
God, there's
got to be well over
300,000, something.
Wow.
Like
yeah,
There's a lot.
it's really big. I remember doing the research on the place before we went, and the numbers were just sky high of how many grave sites are in there.
But believe it or not, guys, that is more people than we have in this city.
Yeah. There's
That is
a lot of
amazing.
spiritual stuff going there too.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys? Because I know you said you did a research. What's the date on that grave? How far does it go back?
It goes back in Civil War era, but we have seen a few of the back sections, which are like the 1700s.
And that's one of the things that I like about, if I ever get a chance to go up north and investigate, I would definitely like to hit up a very old historic cemetery.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of old parts, but you have to go way, way in the back. Up front is more of newer. It's like I said, it's very large. It would probably take you a couple days to do, because it is so big. And but again, we didn't really get much from that one. We've gotten some from a couple of the small cemeteries that live out where we live in our area, and we had more interaction with the smaller ones than we did with that bigger cemetery.
Wow. Okay.
That cemetery was founded in 1838. And they had the burial sites of Susan B. Anthony and Frederick Douglass.
Yeah. Wow. So, considering those two individuals are there, is it considered a historical marker?
Yes. Certain ones,
yes. Yeah, certain sections.
So in certain sections, or well, I guess it's different by state.
Yeah.
If when you're down here down south, if you just have one individual that has, has some kind of historical value to them, they did something famous, they automatically get that tag.
Yeah,
it's a historical site. If it's a home, if it's a park, Indian reservation, they all get that historical site. But it's weird on that case.
Well, Susan B. Anthony also has a house right there in the center of Rochester, so that's also considered, part of the museum.
Now, are you able to get in that place?
Not as of yet. Definitely one place I would like to do. There's actually a few places, but unfortunately, again, because of Rochester being very, yeah, it's very noisy. It's almost like New York City in a way. Very busy. You know, you've got traffic all the time, and especially with where the house is, you've got two main routes on either end of the home. So it makes it impossible for it to be quiet enough to actually hear, you know, if something were to be going on. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, in between all that noise, you couldn't catch something, but with all that noise, it does make it a little difficult, especially when you're reviewing.
Right, right. Now, if you guys got any equipment by hand, you know, I would love to see what you guys are working with.
Oh,
We have tons.
whoa, I don't know what you want to see. We have, you know, the drone. We have all of our Sony cameras that we
grab the
use.
small case.
You want the small case?
Yeah, we can pull out the small case. So we have how many cases? 5 or
1,
6?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 cases full of equipment, all different kinds.
And most of that weight is cameras, would you say?
Yeah, we have the DVR cameras, but we also have the Sony cameras. Sorry about that. But we also have the small body cams.
Okay.
We have those as well. Sometimes
we have our digital voice recorder, which obviously that's one of our favorites because you're going to catch a lot more on these than you would your cameras.
Yeah.
Cool.
We have our K2. We have a bunch of these.
Yeah, we have like three or four.
So to let us know when something.
Oh, it's lighting up. It's lighting up.
Right.
Cool.
And
now
we have we've got a lot of equipment that we use, but do we use it all in one location? No. You know, we have dowsing rods. We use those occasionally. We do the SS method where one of our members will have the headphones on and the SB7. They'll be listening in a totally different section of the house while we're on another section asking questions.
Mind you, they're also blindfolded.
And they're blindfolded. So they can't.
Oh, man, that scares me. I always wanted to try that, man.
It takes all of your natural senses away to really be drawn in to what's coming through. So you're only focusing on those voices, spirits that are coming through to try and send messages forward.
I would love to try that, man, but I'm so scared. Okay, the gentleman in the middle.
That'd be my husband, Tom.
How you doing, Tom?
Good. How you doing?
Now, I'm thinking you're the one that probably be, you know, carrying all the equipment, getting it all set up and all that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes.
What about if I can tell you, bro, that I can take 10 all your cameras and you could just throw them in the trash, or you can sell them, or you can give them to a starter group that might need them. If I can show you a device right now that can change your life, would you go get it?
Well, I guess depending on,
Depending on it.
You know, my team don't use cameras anymore. We stopped.
Yeah.
Completely stopped. For the one reason is we need these to be able to use the devices that we use.
Mm-hmm.
We not always can do this because you're taking away from that one hand. Okay, so we use the devices. There is something out in the world that you can use and have all these freed up. And you guys are going to be shocked on what they are.
Oh, glasses. Nice.
Oh, but it's got a camera in the middle.
Right.
A camera in the middle. And it gives you up to 3.5 hours of audio and video, 3.5 hours of battery life. And you're able to free up your hands and they're 1080p, and they are also, depends on which ones you get, are motion detected, and they also is night vision.
Nice.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
It's
So
neat.
if you guys was to buy these and get rid of those cameras, do you know how much you're actually saving as far as replacing the battery? Hey, I gotta hold this bulky camera up all the time, and stuff like that. Uh, Once I discovered these things, I just had to try them out, and I
Right.
tried them out, and we was very successful with them. You
Yeah,
know,
we have camera gears where we can have all of our rig set up with the lights and the camera and everything. So that way you have everything on one rig.
so I mean, I don't know if you guys will consider these, but they are a big part of my equipment now, and I don't have to carry that big bulky bag of cameras everywhere I go. And some of the places where I go, it's not so person friendly. So I don't want to get hit in the head and get my and get my camera, my equipment took, which nobody's gonna worry about these because they're gonna worry about what's in the bag. You know what I'm saying? So I just throw that out there to you guys to see what you think.
It's
You
definitely
know,
something to look into for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, it's something you might want to look. You guys might want to look into down the line, and they're really comfortable. And the only problem is it has a blue light on the side, and when you're looking and sometimes you change your eye vision, that little light might bother you, but you can rig that up to, not see that blue light, but anything else is pretty cool. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
hey, have you guys ever been to the Island of the Dead?
No, we have not.
Have you guys even seen that place?
No, no. Again, there's a lot of stuff that is on our bucket list. Eventually, we'd like to, go to. So we'll get there. And again, all this comes out of our money. This
Mhm.
is out of our pockets, and so not everybody's rich. We do what we can.
Trust me,
So
I understand that one. Um,
traveling, we do our traveling. Like I said, once a year we go to Gettysburg for the week and we stay there. Yeah, we did the Jenny Wade House. We investigated that. So we also did Devil's Den, which the night before we left, we got some really, really good evidence from there, which was on our live.
Yeah, that was right on our live stream, and we were catching musket and cannon fire, and we could hear it with our own ears. And
oh, really? Wow.
viewers could hear it also, which I actually posted a few clips of that on our Grounded and our TikTok page, so that way people can see and just enhance it a little bit more, just so that way you're able to hear it better. But it went on for about 10 minutes straight. It was really good. It was a good night.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet, man. Hearing all that stuff, that hey, that's amazing. Now, are you guys born in Rochester?
Yeah, I was born in Rochester. He was born very close to Rochester. She was as well.
Okay. Now, tell me, because every state that I've talked to people in, everybody has their own urban legend. Tell me some of the urban legends that you guys have in Rochester.
Not Rochester, but it's up on that hill we debunked.
Spook Hill. If you've heard of Spook Hill in upstate New York.
Never heard of it.
Okay, so a lot of people claim that when they got to this certain section of the road, that they would put their car in neutral and it would roll uphill. Well, we debunked that only because of the way the scenery is, the landscaping, and the road. We were able to debunk to where it's visually it's an optical illusion. And all you're seeing is what you think you see you're going uphill when actually you're going downhill. So we definitely debunked that. That's on our website as well. So a lot of that stuff, it was back in 2016, 2017 when we did that. But a lot of people, we got a lot of flack from it because they were like, "Oh no, you're lying." Well, with the GPS and everything that
Had an elevation meter.
right, the elevation meter that we had in the car was showing you're clearly going downhill, not uphill.
Wow.
So yeah.
Are you guys able to see the comments?
We
Yeah,
are.
some of them. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Mary Ann, how's it going? Well, everybody's saying hi, guys.
Yeah, everybody's saying hi, hello.
Yeah. Hey, that's just a little Texas love we're showing to you. Uh, wow. Okay. Is there any others would you like to share with us?
Urban legends. There's not many in upstate New York. I mean, there's, a few, but a lot of it is, like
It's haunted house.
the cemeteries are major up here. And that's why we've gone to quite a few of them because that's where we get our best audio from.
Mm-hmm.
We have like the Palmyra Museum. We've been there every year for the past, I don't know, 5-6 years. And I caught a full body apparition walking down the hallway.
Oh,
I
wow.
had a digital camera and I was taking a few pictures. And in the doorway, it was in the front part of the doorway. And then the second shot showed it across the doorway and on the other side. So I was able to catch that.
Tell them about Rolling Hills.
Well, Rolling Hills, when we investigated that one, her and I were in the hallway. We were just about to go into another room to investigate. And all of a sudden, we see a gentleman walking past the hallway into a room. And mind you,
we were the only ones there besides the person who had let us in there because we had rented out the entire building.
Yep.
But by the time we got to the door, because we instantly was like, we need to go see who this person is because we didn't know if he let someone in to check something out. So we go in there, and as soon as we walk through the door, we're like, there's no way he could have walked in here because there was a brick wall there. There was no
wow.
Yeah.
And we saw the same, shirt color and pants, and we were both looking at each other like, you did see that, right?
Very solid. Very solid. Looked like a living human
looked
being.
like you and me.
And but that place is always super, super active, regardless of how many people are there. Our very first time, we went on a group investigation with a bunch of other strangers that went. And we actually threw her onto the morgue table and EVP session, and she got hit in the head. Yeah. She got hit in the head, and then another teammate at the time, he got scratched right down the middle of his back. And there was lots of footsteps you could hear.
With nobody being there.
Nobody being there, shuffling behind you. Oh yeah, we were in the classroom and I was doing an EVP session, and the next minute I hear something get thrown right next to my head and it hit the wall behind me.
Which I heard as well.
Yeah. And I said, did you just throw that at me? I said, well, if you did, I said, your aim sucks.
Oh.
So that kind of building them up a little bit just to see what kind of reaction. And it came back with a response, and it was a very good and active night for sure. We got a lot of evidence from that place.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, hey, I'd love to get there one day. That sounds very interesting. Mary Ann, would love to see those pics if you guys got them on any of your social media.
Yeah, I have it on, we have it on grounded paranormal.com, which is our website. And you can see the evidence all on that.
All right, guys, you guys hear that? All right. I mean, hey, I'm gonna have to go check that one out too. You know,
yeah, there's been plenty of places around here that we've done several times because the activity was great. Like Hinsdale, his first time he got scratched. my first time, I got scratched on my back. And you would think being touched or grabbed or scratched would freak you out.
Uh-huh.
For me personally, it doesn't. It's weird, and you would think it would, but it's like, okay, and I went right back into the spot where I was, where it happened, and, just let things go.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, when this was before my daughter got onto our group, we did a old bar hotel that was going to be torn down out in Bliss, New York. And it was just our team, and that was it. We did an investigation. Well, I went up the stairs where it was kind of falling apart, and I wanted to be up there by myself to see what would happen. So I was asking questions, and next thing I know, I felt this, like, it felt like a cold rope going around the bottom of my leg.
Oh, wow.
And then it was gone. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm looking around, and I had somebody with me, and they were looking. They said, there's nothing there. I said, well, something just felt like it wrapped around my leg. Coming to reviewing it, it was cat, because there was a meow after I was asking questions, and then I felt the tail of that cat, and all of a sudden it meowed. So it was a ghostly cat that was there, because it was animals there. So
that is, but you know what, guys? This is what's so crazy about what you just told me. I was just fixing to ask you guys, do you, when you go on your investigation, do you take any pets with you?
No.
You just happened to mention a cat.
No.
Wow. I mean, because I always, sometimes I might recommend, people take their dogs. For the simple fact, dogs are really, really in tune with a lot of things that we don't have. They can see, hear, got that sense of smell, and if I had a dog, he or she would definitely go with me on investigations.
Oh yeah.
Because, they are very amazing animals, But
Well,
yeah.
like children, small children, they see them and hear them more so than we do. And
Oh yeah.
a lot of people don't understand why that children would more so than the parent would, or anything like that. And of course, we've all learned that our brain waves are running a lot faster, because we're worried about this, worried about that. We're doing this, doing that. So our brain waves are constantly going, where a child's is much slower than ours. So that's why spirit can come in. They can talk to them. They can see them. So we talk about brain waves, and that's getting into a whole ball of wax, from paranormal. So, but yeah, the alpha beta waves, it's just a whole new thing that if you have not looked into it, definitely read up on it, because it will give you a different perspective on what you do as a paranormal investigator.
Right. Okay. Hey guys, you guys are listening. This is some good advice. Definitely, definitely. Hey, we would love to have you to come. I'm more, say, Central Texas, but if you guys ever come to East Texas, hey, I'm like 4 hours away. Make that trip up there. No problem at all. Yeah, kids are amazing individuals. They are definitely. I mean, I wouldn't recommend taking one with me on the. I mean, I've been asked, "Hey, can I go? Can we go?" I'm like, no. There's much as I would like to, but there's an age. Yeah, there's an age limit that I would like.
Yeah, it's because of liability. They don't understand it, but as adults, we do. God forbid they get hurt or anything. Because we have to do the same thing. Anytime we go into a location, we're signing their waivers. They sign our waivers. That way, we protect not only ourselves, but the location that we're at.
Same with when we host events like Hinsdale.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that everyone is safe and everyone,
goes by the rules.
Yeah.
Right. Well, ask this question for me, guys. The Harvest Moon is tomorrow. Does your city do anything for that event?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Nothing.
No, if anybody is in, the spiritual realms, they would do things on their own. But as a city or a town, they actually do not do anything for it. Life just keeps going.
Man.
Yeah, it's different in New York. I'm telling you.
You know what? I mean, I think if I was to come up there, I'll be bored because there is so much, there's so many, festivities that go on around this time of the year that don't go on up there. Man, I mean, I wouldn't know what to do.
October is when it all flares up.
Wow. So what do they do for October? I mean, what do they do?
Oh, there's a lot of haunted houses.
I mean, especially
hayrides, and they do a lot of the ghost walks.
Halloween haunted stuff.
Yeah.
You have the Greater Rochester Hayride, which is massive, and it comes with a 3D haunted house with hayride, and then after that you go into a bigger haunted house. But that place, you're allowed to be touched and grabbed and pulled.
Yeah, so
whichever direction. So that's a lot of fun if you want to get your adrenaline up there.
Yeah.
Wow, you seem like you guys need some gore tides, some ghost tours up there. I think I might come up there and start my own ghost tour.
There you go.
Make some money on that.
I've been very tempted of buying an old house and seeing what we can get. If we get something, then build it from there.
Oh, that would be interesting. That would be definitely interesting. I just met a guy from Ohio. Matter of fact, I just spoke with him on the phone. This guy actually turned an old ambulance into his paranormal mobile.
Yeah.
and I thought that was the coolest thing. But the one thing that I had to ask him, have you even investigated your own damn ambulance? But he said no. And I think he's tried to look into it on how many people have died in that ambulance, but the city won't give him the information on that for some weird reason, which, I understand. But yeah, he, all right, Susan Mason. I don't know who the Facebook user is, but hello. That's the first I've ever seen a Facebook user not use their name.
Yeah,
so it's kind of weird for me. Okay, Jennifer, do you have any grandkids?
I have 4.
So, what do they think about you being a paranormal investigator?
They're still pretty young, but they think it's cool. They like playing with the equipment and stuff, but like. My kids, I have a boy and a girl, and they've been very in tune since they were little. Like my daughter, she's, talking to people in her room. She'll close her door at night. So I'm like, okay, you can talk to your friend, that's your time. Yeah, I mean, she would just wake up in the middle of the night and just be chit-chatting away and laughing like as if someone was tickling her.
Oh, wow.
But the older boys, they think it's cool. Malachi is basically the one that's like, oh, I want to go.
The 9-year-old, he wants to go. He's, very interested in it, and he thinks it's very cool what Nani and Papa do. And but yeah, all the kids are, very cool about it.
He likes to sit down and watch us review the footage.
Yeah, he'll help us do some of the reviewing sometimes.
Okay. Now, Jennifer, what would your parents think if they knew you was doing this, or if they're still alive? What would they think about it?
My mom was very supportive when she was alive. So she, helped us out whenever she could, and but she was very supportive with this whole journey that we've been taking.
Okay, cool. Oh man, that, you know what? Like I say, my family think I'm a nutcase, and they ask to this day, why do I do what I do? Are you afraid of bringing something back with me?
See,
From an
we got very
investigation?
lucky with our family. Our family and friends are very supportive in what we do. So, we have that big support system,
They
which
just
is
don't want to see nothing.
they don't want to see it. They don't want us, bringing it home or anything, which we don't. That's why we're called grounded paranormal. We stay grounded.
Right.
So that's specific. So we don't bring things home.
I mean, it's not a guarantee, but
No, it's not.
Right.
But
You
awesome.
know what? And that was the next question for you guys. What is your pre and post paranormal investigation? What do you guys do before and after you guys done investigating?
before we investigate, we typically arrive at whatever location that we're at, and we kind of we talk things over and be like, okay, this person's going to go down here to set up this camp. We kind of just plan everything out before we just start setting up.
Mm-hmm.
Once we do the setup, we typically go outside for about 15-20 minutes to just let everything settle, because whatever spirit's there is going to see what we're doing and is going to be very unsure of it most of the time. So we
Right.
like to go outside, let everything settle, let the cameras settle, and
that's when we collect
that's when we
together
ground
and
ourselves.
we ground ourselves before
And
we go back in.
Yep. Then we'll go in, we'll start our investigation. Once the investigation's over, we pack up all of our things. And, depending on the person, I'm that one to be like, I will say it in my head or out loud,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for,
Closing prayer.
it's kind of like a closing prayer. But also letting the spirits know, like, thank you so much for letting us communicate with you, but you are not welcome to come back with me. Your home is here. And that's just kind of my comfort when I'm leaving a location. So that way I know that whatever's there understands what I'm saying and that you are not allowed to come back with me.
Now, do you guys have somebody with uh let's just say you guys come across something that's out of your league. Do you guys have somebody on standby just for that? Just for that?
Yes.
You
Yes,
know,
we do.
That's
just
what's nice about, that's what's nice about collaborating with other teams is
And
because
networking.
you're able to reach out to other teams who have more experience or are willing to enter that area that we may not feel comfortable in, or
Mhm.
someone who does have more experience with it. So
Okay.
we will be open and honest with people if they need certain help, if we are able, because we don't want to give them false hope.
No,
Right.
Either we're able to do the job or we're
Or
not
we're
able
not.
to do the job.
exactly.
So it just
Okay.
depends on each case.
Now, if you guys would rate your success rate, let's say if you guys were in a house, what would your number be?
Between a 1 and a 10, we're pretty much an 8 because
An 8?
we've helped a couple of families with their homes. And
I was about to say, I don't know, because every family that we
every
have,
family is different.
every family is different with a different case, but each and every one we were able to help them.
Yeah.
Regardless of the situation, we were able to help them.
Cool. Hey, that's a good number right there, guy. That means you guys are on your P's and Q's.
Yeah, you have to be,
Yeah.
especially in this.
Right? You definitely have to be. What is the age number? Somebody want to come join Grounded Paranormal. Are you guys willing to? I mean, give me an age number that you would take these guys, train them, educate them, and let them be, a good support, cast for your team.
Well, I feel like 18 is a good age because by that time they're an adult. They can make their own decisions. Obviously, liability is a huge thing with us.
Mhm.
So we will only bring on people who
18 and above.
18 and above, just to keep things safe. And, at that level of age is where maturity starts to hit a lot of times.
For
Mhm.
most.
For most. But we do like interviews with them, and we'll kind of get to the root of things. Just talk basics with them of why they got interested.
We want to know their passion.
Yeah.
If they're passionate about it. This is something that is volunteer. You don't get paid for it. So it is time consuming at times. And when we schedule, our investigations, you have to be available. I have had in the past where I'm sure all teams have gone through it, and we know a few teams have gone through it, where you have certain members that are like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And you say, okay, well, come with us on a couple investigations. And then next thing you know, it's like, okay, here's the next investigation. And they don't show up. They don't call, it's like they just poof, gone.
Yeah.
So, we look for those people who are passionate enough. If I could get more tech savvy people on, that would be great.
Right.
Most of it.
I always seem, I don't know, but the younger generation they're all in it just to say, I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in it for the oohs and the ahs. And
Yeah.
just to tell us.
And what's so crazy about it, when I, put an ad out that, NSPS TV Paranormal needs investigators, come, if you think you can handle it, come, come talk to me.
Sorry about that.
And believe it or not, most of the people that contact me is in between the 45 and 50 range, in which they're older, mature, and and they able and they able. I wouldn't say able, and they know how to talk to people whether they are gone or still here.
Right.
It's not all about this, that, but just because they're dead or they're no longer here, and if they're, most of the time they're young, they're older than you. So you always got to take that yes, ma'am, no, ma'am into consideration. Most of the kids today don't even say that to their parents.
No, I know.
There's no way I am going to be able to, have a kid that's totally disrespectful in life, in the same way in death. I mean,
respect is number one with our team. Yeah. Because they were all human at one point in time. Yeah. There's no reason to try and be disrespectful towards.
And we don't provoke.
Yeah, the provoking does not happen.
No, it can't.
No.
And and to me, you're gonna act the way that you act when you're as you're growing up. You're gonna treat people. You treat people with respect, and that's the way people that are dead should be treated the same way.
Yes.
But if you go off and tell your parents God knows what, you're gonna tell these people God knows what. Hey, but trust me, if you think these people your parents can hurt you, these people here can really hurt you.
Yeah, they can.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why certain locations we ask permission before we even step into a room. We'll be like, hi, so and so. Do you mind if we come in here and have a conversation with you, be able to communicate with you? Just certain things, just try to be as respectful as possible, because at certain locations, they know of a spirit, which is actually at Rolling Hills. Her name is Nurse Emma. And she does not like certain people in her room. So we would ask permission first. I played back on the digital voice recorder. I was like, okay, I don't hear anything. Let's test it out. And that's when we got a really good EVP, because we always go around and we introduce ourselves. That's just out of respect for us. We'll go around and we'll each say our names. And one of our team members goes, and this is Jen. And I said, she already said her name. She goes, oh, I didn't hear her. Well, on the digital voice recording, you could hear a woman saying, you weren't listening.
Yeah.
Exactly what we were talking about.
Wow.
So it was very clear.
Get comical sometimes.
It can.
It really can.
Like,
oh yeah.
The bed and breakfast.
Oh yeah.
We started talking about pies. The spirits, or
this
no.
is the whole thing was that when we were there at this bed and breakfast, okay, we did the Estes. Okay. So I had them in the other section. They were in a house. We were in the catering part, which used to be an old church.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the sanctuary part. So we were in two separate buildings, but the buildings were connected by a hallway. And he would radio down to me what she was picking up on the SB7. Well, we got talking and, we were communicating really well. And then, all of a sudden it was quiet and I'm like just sitting there and it's late at night. And I'm like, geez, I could really go for some pie.
I know you said I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry and I could go for pie. And that's when they said, go ahead.
But then
have some.
Yeah, it started talking about pies and then offering certain beers because there was a bar in there.
Yeah.
So we
Oh, really? Wow.
You have to kind of think outside of the box, not just what's your name, how old are you when you're basic questions. You have to look outside of the box and see what you can ask to actually draw them in. Yeah. What can you do to actually grab their attention?
But what I didn't know, coming and find out at the end, I knew that the guy who owned the building was a caterer. So I figured, he did, big meals and stuff, No, pies. He catered pies.
Because he gave us a slice of pie at the end of our investigation, not knowing he just did pies.
Oh, wow.
It was weird. It was a weird night. Let's put it that way. But it was comical at the same time, But we've done that bed and breakfast probably three or four times.
Wow, that is crazy. Hey, guys, let's talk about a subject that some people don't like it, some people love it. Let's talk about Hollywood and how they, how they just seem sometimes, the movies about ghosts and paranormal investigators, all the TV shows that are out there. How do you guys feel about that? Or do you guys even watch those shows?
We have, not gonna lie, like we watch them.
I don't watch them on a regular. I watch them when they first start, and then after that, I'm like, I just don't watch them anymore. It's a lot of drama.
It's kind of like a touchy subject because we are obviously big on para-unity. That's our thing. We're very big on it. But there are certain teams who are on TV that we're like, so
yeah.
I feel like a lot of it's dramatized.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sugarcoat that. A lot of it I feel like is very dramatized. Not every location you are going to go to is going to have activity, regardless if you've been there for your first time or your 10th time. Every night is different. Mm-hmm. And for them to come on TV and just, I'm being possessed every time.
Throws himself in the wall.
I mean, that's when I kind of become a little skeptical. So that's why I try not to venture off into the TV side. Mm-hmm. But there is certain teams on TV that I do believe in, for sure. It really depends on how they do their work.
Yeah.
Right. I quit watching those shows a long time ago. Ghost Adventure, I've never watched it.
I wasn't going to mention a name.
Yeah, the minute I've seen those guys, I'm like, man, there's something.
I'm not mentioning
There's something funny about these guys. I'm like, nah. I've never watched them. Taps, I quit watching Taps after maybe the third season because I saw the difference that they were going through. Mm-hmm. And you'd be surprised, Jennifer, like you were saying, money make you do strange things.
It does.
And after they split and went off on their own to do their own thing, I mean, granted, Grant was doing really well. He was more debunking it and really putting it out there because I was watching a couple of the episodes and he was doing very well. That kind of fell off as well, after a while. It just didn't go very far. Jason, he's still out there doing the same thing, but again, he's,
he's making that money.
He's making that money. And that's, and that's the thing with production. You got to understand they will ask you certain questions. And if there's not any activity, you're going to have to figure something out. And it's not something I want to be figured out. It either happens or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, well, we'll come back. Now, how many times do they actually go to these places to get that activity? That's what I would like to know because they never air that. No. Because it may take, several times to go to that same location before they do get, everything. And not only that, because they go to commercial, who's to say they got one thing one night and then a month later they got another small smidget of something of the same place, but it's taken them months just to get a show. You see what I'm saying? So they're getting maybe one sound out of the whole night on one night. So they got to save that clip, and just that's how I think they're able to get so much activity within their investigation.
Well, especially with equipment. I mean, so an example, K2, if you actually watch what they're doing on TV, so obviously that's how you turn it on, but it's really easy to manipulate it by just pushing the button very lightly, and you would never know because they're in the dark.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to be very careful with that.
Yeah. Hey, what do you guys think about now? This young lady, I would have to say, is probably one of my favorite paranormal investigators, Katrina Whiteman. What do you guys think about her?
We've watched Katrina and Nick with their show.
Katrina's good. Nick is all about the drama.
Well,
that's the thing. I give kudos to him though, because he had ventured off.
He ventured off. Yeah.
But me personally, I do like Katrina. I liked the show that Nick and Katrina were doing together. That was actually like one of my favorites at the time.
Yeah.
What about the show that she has on YouTube now? Have you guys watched that?
I have not.
Nope, not watched. I don't watch many of the shows anymore.
Okay.
I don't pay attention to it because the unfortunate thing is being an investigator, everybody investigates differently. And if you're watching shows all the time, then you're going to mimic what they're doing. And it may not turn out the right way, and you get bad habits, and you may not get the evidence that you really want.
And you know what, Jennifer, you are absolutely correct on that. Because one thing I found out is 85% of every paranormal investigator in this country or in the world say the same things over. It seems like it's a damn recorder because it's saying over and over again. Is anybody here? Can I see it? Can you do this? Can you do that? It's over and over again. You know what? If there's an investigator who would never use that, would be perfect, because you hear it over. And you know what? I'm into that 185% because I see myself saying the same thing. An investigator in another town is probably saying the same damn thing.
Oh yeah, because that's how you started, and it's repetitive. Everybody does it. We've even asked, what dimension are you speaking from?
We try to change it up.
We change it up. How do you travel? Things like that. We try and get them to where if they're coming in and out of certain dimensions, how are they able to do that? If they're able to do it quickly, so there are different questions you can ask. You just got to really think about it and think outside the box. Like Amber said before, we're always thinking outside that box on questions, because you want to ask the questions that if you were having a conversation with them right then and there, you want to ask them those things. You don't care about their name, you don't care where they're from, you want information, and deep information. And a lot of times, unfortunately, spirit won't tell us why. I don't know. There must be a rule out there that says you can only give them this much information. After that, you don't get nothing more.
Well, that's a good question, man, because I really don't know, man. There might be a code out there, You can only do that. You can only answer this. You can only answer that.
Yeah. You have, the repetitive spirit that, keeps playing over and over the same motion and the same, thing. Then you have your intelligent spirits. Right. Then you have your intelligent spirits that when you ask a question, like when we were at the Phelps Hotel and I decided to ask the spirits questions, because at first we were like, okay, could you say one of our names? And they ended up saying Tom, Mitchell, and somebody else. I'm not sure who it was, but they said their names, which was part of our group. And then, so we were going through questions and that, and I said, well, how many fingers am I holding up? And when I changed it clearly, which is on our page, you could hear him say 3. That's it.
Wow.
So that was an intelligent spirit telling me, you know, I basically went from 5 to 3, and they told me 3. That's it. You know, and then when we ended that session, we always, you know, asked them, could you say goodbye to us? Because we're going to end this session. And you could just hear them, goodbye, bye, bye. It was nuts.
Several spirits coming through.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I always notice, because I watch TV a lot. I mean, I don't watch the basic channels, but I always find out that YouTube has some of the best amateur video paranormal investigators. That, number one, they don't edit their stuff. You know, they because they want to, you know, they're out there to try to, you know, catch the evidence that everybody else is trying to catch. You know, it's not about, you know, money, because they're not making money.
Right.
You know, they're not involved with Hollywood. So some of the best videos is on YouTube. And when I get off of work, I go straight to YouTube and I watch Nuke's Top 5. Have you ever watched that, Nuke's Top 5?
No.
Check it out.
No.
Nuke's Top 5 is some of the best amateur video from across the world, no matter where it's at. If it gets sent to Nuke, it has to be amateur. It can't be professionally. If not, they wouldn't even put it on the show.
Yeah.
So you guys, check out that video. You will. Check out that TV, that YouTube show. You guys will like it. You know, it's great. Amateur, nothing but. Like me and you, I would never consider myself a professional, because we're learning as we're going. There's too much. We would never learn everything about this. You know.
No, not until we cross over.
Yeah, and I already got a couple of people I want to stalk out before when I go.
I'm sure everybody's got that long list.
I got my bucket list set up for a couple of people.
Who's haunting who?
So they get out of there. So yeah, hey guys, everybody, I have one. Jennifer, I know you have one. I know the gentleman in the back has one, and I know the young lady has one. Tell me your bucket list. Tell me the place you want to investigate.
Waverly.
Tombstone.
Good one. Tombstone.
Mine's Waverly Hills in Kentucky.
I want to go to Arizona to all the abandoned towns.
Ghost
and stuff.
towns.
Ghost town. Hey, you know, a place that you should go check out is what is that damn mountain called? Superstitious Mountains.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mysteriously things going on over there. I don't know if you guys as old as I am, but I remember Daffy Duck and what is that, Porky Pig going to the Superstitious Mountains in that little car, and Daffy Duck was always scared about. Hey, that's how far back that goes, you know. And I'm pretty sure it goes back a lot farther.
Yeah, it's like Witch Mountain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and all that gold that's in that mountain, somebody's protecting.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I would love to go there, but hey, to be honest with you guys, my bucket list, you know, I would have to pick outside the country. Everybody know I would like to go to France, Normandy Beach.
Yeah.
United Kingdom.
Yeah, United Kingdom,
The
Ireland.
castles over in the United Kingdom and Ireland.
Yep. Want to be another. I mean, it's a very big bucket list because we have a very big world out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
And
it
there
is.
is a lot that we could possibly do, but we don't get paid for it. So, you know, that's our money.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy about those investigators over there? It seemed like the way they investigate is totally different from what we do here.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Yeah, they do.
I mean, I don't know. I've been trying to, to sit back and just look at some of their investigating, but it seemed like they're, I don't know what they're dealing with over there, but it's much darker and it's much older.
Yeah, I think that's the key word
Elementals.
is older.
Yeah, it's much older than what it is here.
Hmm.
Because this country was founded in what, 1776, I'll
Hmm.
say.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Europe was a lot older than ancient times.
Which actually, if you ever travel down to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, they have what's called the Dobbin House, which was built in 1776. And so it's still there to this day. They turned it into a restaurant, and you're actually able to bed and breakfast. You're able to see the original spring that's there, still running underneath the foundation, and you're able to see some of the artifacts that are upstairs on certain levels. Then what's cool about that place also is there's a staircase that you can take that has a plexiglass window where they actually had during the Underground Railroad, where they used to hide out, and they still have that intact.
Oh, wow.
With mannequins that shows basically how small it was for them to be sitting in there and hiding,
Wow.
as long as they were. So that place is definitely a cool place to experience for sure.
Mhm.
And obviously you're allowed to eat there and whatever, but it's
Well, how much for a room there if it's a bed and breakfast?
I'm not
I'm
sure.
sure it's expensive.
I don't know, but we had a good anniversary dinner there.
Yeah, we had dinner there the first night down because we left the Monday just before the bash because we spent the week there. So we ended up going there for dinner. But I mean, the experience alone was worth it.
It's down in the basement, and it's all lit by candle light, and it's just a really cool experience if you ever travel down there.
Mhm.
Oh, dude, I can imagine. One thing, we don't have basements here in Texas. I
No.
wish we did. The ground is too hard here.
Yeah.
And if you do have one, you must gonna pay a lot of money to get it. But that would just to sit there in the Underground Railroad in that little confinement. I'm too fat. I'm not gonna fit in there.
I hear you.
I am not gonna fit in there at all. They're gonna have to push me in there.
Well, what's cool about that is it's between two floors. It's not in like the basement. It's actually between two floors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So can you imagine the architect that built that house?
Yeah.
It's a really neat experience.
Yeah,
like I
how
said,
many kids did they have?
he had
18 or 19 kids
yeah.
at the
Oh, wow.
time from 2 marriages. But then he turned it into the first school. So he was the founder of Gettysburg, Mr. Dobbin. He was the founder of Gettysburg. And he bought 300 plus acres, and that's where he built his homestead. And then he turned it into a school. And it changed to multiple different things, throughout the years. But then a young lady bought that home and turned it into a diner and bed and breakfast,
Wow,
which is just amazing.
that is cool. Okay, hey guys, I am talking with Grounded Paranormal from Rochester, New York. Those of you that are just now coming on to the show and leaving your comments, hey, keep them rolling in, guys. I really appreciate it. If you can, go to their page, hit that like, share, subscribe button. Give these guys all the support that they want, that they need, because they are doing good things up there in. Is that northeast? What is that considered? Northeast?
It's Western New York.
Yeah, Western New York. They're doing good things in Western New York, guys. So hey, go show them love.
One of our team members, Stacy, she wasn't able to be here, which I wish she was.
She had to work tonight. So.
Yeah,
but she's on.
She's definitely, she's definitely she's with us in spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mary, she said this team is definitely awesome. Mary, reach out to this team. show them love. Make
Thank you.
sure you go every now and then, say hello. Just ask what they're doing. How things going.
Yep, we're very down to earth people. We're not.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, if we can send them. We can all pitch in, get a couple of airplane tickets. Get them down here.
road trip.
Yeah.
Speaking of road trips, guys, how far are you willing to go? Somebody calls you, say, "Hey, man, I need Grounded Paranormal to come check me out." Is there a state line that you guys aren't willing to cross, or how far are you willing to go to help that person out?
I mean, we can go into like Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, maybe even Canada, because Canada is like 2 hours away from us. That
Virginia, so he would take care
so
of
yeah.
that.
But even so, if somebody asks us to do it, then we can do West Virginia. But yeah. So Maine,
Well, that's why we
close-knits.
also venture out to other teams that we
Yeah.
know who
If
are in
we
those
can't.
areas.
Yeah.
And also it depends on the case.
Mhm.
Children are number one. We will always drop whatever we are doing and head for the road to help that family out. We always make
Especially when
children
it's a child
when
involved.
children are involved, that's an emergency for us. That we need to get out there ASAP.
Okay. Susan, do you guys know what the torture tree is? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, Boyd.
Oh.
Yeah, Boyd Park. Yes, we have investigated that before.
Can you give me a little history on why they call it that?
Well, you know a lot of that history, right?
Well, that tree there is where I don't know what
It was a torture tree.
I know what branch of Indians. But anyway,
Can't
they
remember the Indians.
captured these two soldiers, and what they did is they sliced their side open and attached their intestines to the tree and made them run around the tree until they died.
Oh man, that's horrible.
Yeah, that's why it's
That's
called the
why
torture
it's
tree.
called the torture tree.
So what did they do? Go AWOL or something? Is there any history on what these soldiers did?
I don't remember exactly what the history was. That was a while ago.
I don't
See,
know
and a
how they
lot
got
of it,
caught.
and a lot of it is
That was revolutionary. Era.
right. It's revolutionary. So a lot of it wasn't documented. There was only bits and pieces of the documentation.
Uh-huh.
But with the soldiers, I think what happened was something they did that was wrong. I don't remember what it was, but they, were tortured on that tree. Indians were tortured in that area. Their homes burnt to the ground.
So it was Seneca's, the
Seneca.
tribe.
Okay, yeah,
tribe.
Seneca tribe.
Yeah.
So you guys have a large ancient Indian history in
All of New York State
All of
is.
New York.
All of New York. Doesn't matter where you go. And which is funny because a lot of people are like, "Oh, my house is haunted." Well, it necessarily won't be your house. It could be just the land that you're on.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And we get a lot of, Indian reservations that we have in our areas, but yet, they'll talk about the spirit world somewhat. They don't go into detail because it's for them when you cross over, it's, a whole like ritual kind of thing. So it's very kind of touch and go when you want to talk to anybody from the reservation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all of New York State is just Indian burial grounds and Indian territory.
Wow. I would definitely love to get up there and check all that out.
It's a lot of history when it comes to the Indian territory. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that. Okay, guys. I've been talking about you guys for so long. Is there anything? Wait a minute. A lot of land was owned by the Holland Land Company from the natives,
basically. Yeah.
What is the Holland Land Company?
Well, there's a lot of land that has been bought and sold in this area. And a lot of it was stolen from certain people, tribes, and I think it was like the Dutch or something like that. pole.
Yep.
They were trying to annihilate it.
Yeah, they were basically. So yeah, it just there's a lot of history involved when it comes to New York, and to get into depth, I mean, there is so much, but there's so much in different sections. You know, everything happened. You know, there's a section of land that's pretty close to us where a whole tribe was tortured and maimed, and you know, and that was by the white man. They burnt their town to their little village to the ground. They raped the women. They killed the children. They, you know, hung the men. I mean, it was terrible. You know, so there was a lot of these massacres in New York State. I think there's like what 4 or 5 sectors in New York, or there could be more, where there were just massive killings.
Wow. It seems like if I was to go and investigate in your area, the local historian would be my best friend.
Right.
Yep.
Because they would know
everything.
They would know everything.
And you can just investigate. You can go into a deep set of woods, sit there with a recorder and a camera, and I guarantee you would get something.
Wow.
It wouldn't matter where you went.
Ask permission first.
You know, well, ask permission first, but
yeah, right.
Basically, go anywhere in New York and just sit by yourself. You could probably be even in your backyard if you got an acre or 2 acres. Sit in your backyard as long as it's quiet. You'd probably catch something.
Wow.
So it's, you know,
hopefully a buzz if I'm sitting in my backyard.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of landlines too. You know, the ley lines that run through.
All right, guys. I mean, I've been asking you guys 1,000,001 questions. Would you guys like to ask me anything?
Well, we want to know, how did you find us?
Actually, how did I find you guys? Good question. Actually, I follow you guys on your Facebook page, and I'm like, okay, these guys. And I looked at your page and saw the good thing that you guys were doing, and I'm like, well, let me just reach out to them and see if they'd like to come on the podcast. See, the one thing that Facebook people, is when they set up their Facebook page, number one, they just put up the basic Facebook page. They don't have a contact number. They don't have an email. They don't have no way to contact them whatsoever. Yeah. But they're steady posting stuff on their Facebook, but they have no way of means for people to communicate with them, you know, that don't know them.
Right.
You know, so luckily you guys had all that on your Facebook page, and that's how I was able to reach out to you guys. And which I thank you so much, Jennifer.
Well, I thank you, you know, for, you know, inviting us on and asking all these questions. And is there some place that you've investigated that you would never go back to again?
Oh my God. Yes. Do you have your phone near you by chance, Jennifer? Yeah. I'm going to send you a picture. And this picture here scares the hell out of me. And I will not go back to this place. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see here.
Because I don't think I've known of any place that I would not go back to yet.
Actually, I can't find the picture.
No, I'll go back to that. I can go back to it.
There is a slave cemetery in Austin that's on the east side of Austin. It's on the Austin is very segregated. Anything east is minority. Anything west is the rich. So we went to this cemetery, which is a historical landmark, and we were investigating. This is probably one of our second investigations. We had just started, and Jennifer, it was so weird because I was drawn to this tree, and this tree I couldn't tell you what was wrong with it. I just kept looking at it. Have you ever had that feeling when you're walking, but you're looking, and it seems like your mind is telling you to walk this way, but another part of your mind is telling you to look towards that tree?
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I was doing, and I couldn't figure out why I was looking at that tree.
Hmm.
So I walked by that tree. I stood by that tree. Even when I was far away doing my investigating at the cemetery, my eyes wasn't focusing on the job at hand. It was focused on that tree.
Hmm.
And when I got home, and I'm like, we took some pictures, and I say, let me see what was on that tree. And guys, not only was I'm looking at that tree, but somebody was looking at me at that tree, from the behind the tree. It was a full body apparition poking his head from around that tree, looking at me, and it scared the hell out of me because one, when you're not really, you're just coming out, as a paranormal investigator, there's certain things that you don't know how to respond to, and
Yes.
I did not know how to respond to that. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Who would, especially when you're first starting out?
And I am going to find that photo and I am going to send it to you if I can find it. It's something that shocked the hell out of me.
Well, that's just like here. One of my friends had a negative attachment on her. And one night in this very house where we're sitting now, I was like, just hold still. I'm going to take some photos of you. I turned all the lights off, made sure my flash was on, started taking pictures of her. And then all of a sudden, I happened to look at the photo and there's a man's face right by her shoulder, right behind her. And we confirmed it with a psychic medium that we trust dearly. And I sent her the photo and she goes, yes, that is her negative attachment. And we actually were able to work with that team and remove it off of her.
Yeah.
Wow. That is crazy. I'm going to send you that picture, Jennifer. And you're going to like, what the hell? You're really going to flip out on that. Because, like I say, something drew me to that tree. And I could not believe until I actually saw it. And I was like totally, freaked out on that. But it's something that every young team that's out there trying to get their feet down,
or even, working into their abilities, which this one here, we had an investigation at a private home, and unfortunately she wasn't able to make it for the investigation. So there was myself, Tom, and Stacy who went to this gentleman's house, and we started investigating and asking them questions and trying to find out, about them. Well, as I was asking this gentleman questions, my team member, Stacy, was contacting my daughter over the phone. They were messaging back and forth. And Amber was telling Stacy what she was feeling.
Right.
And so,
which is crazy to me till this day, is because she messages me and she goes, tell me what you feel. And I said, Stacy, how in the world is that going to happen when I'm not there? I have to be physically there to be able to feel certain things. And she's like, just do it. I said, well, what if I'm wrong? And she was like, just tell me what you're feeling. Just tell me what you're feeling. I'm like, okay. So initially when I just kind of, it was weird. It's almost like I centered myself like immediately. And I ended up picking up a young boy. And I said, he's probably around the age of 6 to 9 or something. Okay. And she's like, okay, keep going. And I said, I'm seeing a man pacing up and down the stairs. I was like, he's taller, he's wearing blue jeans. So I was just describing different people.
And mind you, she's not at this location, so she doesn't know if they're stairs or not.
But
Really?
yeah, but it's almost as if you're daydreaming. And so I was like, do they have like a banister upstairs? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, okay. And then all these different people that I was picking up were actually confirmed by the family once my dad, Tom, had called me. And I was like, okay, now I'm freaked out because I've never done this before. So Stacy, she goes, okay, you're on the phone with me, but once I get up the stairs, you're going to tell me right or left. So I was like, okay, go left. Well, it was the
owner's bedroom.
It was the owner's bedroom. And I said, well, I'm feeling a woman standing by a bed. I said, she's an older lady. She's very short. And she's got curly hair. And I was just picking up different things. And the owner goes, oh my God, that's my mom. She's like, she was 4 foot and some amount of quarters. And she always had to put that quarter in there. And I was like, well, I feel like she's just there to watch over you and protect you. So what freaked out my team member is she was walking around the room while I was still on the phone with her. And I said, don't touch that picture frame. She's like, don't do that. Because she was about to touch the picture frame. I said, don't touch it.
She was about to touch a picture frame. And she was like,
don't touch it.
And again, she didn't know the layout of the house. She didn't know if it had stairs or if it didn't, nothing. But she was able to direct her into that bedroom from the staircase.
Oh, wow.
Without even being there. So with her being in tuned to what we were doing, that is what a team is supposed to do. You know, her abilities can help us out in certain situations, even if she's not.
And honestly, being a part of the paranormal, the longer you're in it, the more you're going to open up to certain things.
Yeah.
Like when I was a child, I had to been about 3 or 4. And we lived in an old farmhouse, which actually used to be a funeral home. And a little boy named Christopher that I used to talk to all the time. I still remember what he looks like. I thought he was just another kid playing at our house.
And there was a lot of things that happened at that place.
A lot.
In the funeral home, they just had 5 wakes in the house.
Well, they had 5 wakes in the house, but still.
But I always told my parents, it was weird because I used to just call him Scotty all the time instead of Christopher. I said, Scotty's here. I'm talking to Scotty. And a psychic medium had approached me and she was like, she asked me about it. And
this is recently.
It's happened multiple times where psychic mediums have come up to me and be like, did you have a miscarriage? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, there's a boy. And I was like, I'm guessing he's 8 years old and his name is Christopher. And they'd be like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I know who he is. And they say that he's still with me till this day.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of stuff happens in my apartment, which I think is him. I'll just be like, okay, you know, I'll hear certain whispers or my name being called. Things are being lost. And
cups are coming up missing.
All my cups are gone. So I just had to buy a new set because all of them just disappeared somewhere. You know, so it's just insane.
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony with Texas Wraith Hunters. What's going on, buddy? It says you got on late and you got a couple questions that you want to ask Grounded Paranormal. So feel free to ask, brother. Jennifer, what do you think about that picture I just sent you?
I'm looking at it now.
There. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Look at my glasses on.
I can see without my glasses.
When you get old, you need glasses.
Yes, sir. You sure do.
Good one.
That's a good catch right there. Good catch.
Thank you.
That is an awesome catch.
Yeah.
Damn.
Sorry.
Yeah, I will not go back. And what's so crazy about it, guys?
I'd be
running towards it. If I saw that, I'd be running towards it.
Right?
I'm like, hold on, wait.
Let me ask
you. But what's so crazy about it, we had a bad thunder. We were out in a thunderstorm. It was lightning, but it wasn't raining. It was just lightning and thundering, and we were out there in that cemetery. And we all know what happened to electricity.
Yeah.
energize the area
Yep.
so you could.
It
Stacy
energized
says,
that.
I want to see.
That it energizes that
Yeah,
area.
it amped everything up almost. Woo, boy, you can feel the electricity in the air.
That's what's really good about having, a good thunderstorm. If you're doing an investigation and, hopefully you're indoors and not outdoors, but
Yeah.
having one while you're indoors, that yes, definitely could really amp up some activity.
Yeah, it was crazy. And what's even crazier, I found the grave that had my last name. And how creepy is that? And my last name is very unusual. But when I found, like, come on, dude. So you kidding me, right? Has anyone of y'all got possessed or believe they? Okay, Anthony got a question for you guys.
Has any of you gotten possessed or what our beliefs?
None of us
have gotten possessed.
Honestly, that is something that is very, very, rare.
Very rare.
Regardless of how, people are like, oh my gosh, there's something demonic in here. Something's very bad in here. It's very rare that anyone's going to be
wait a minute,
possessed.
Zach is
well, let's not go that. I'm not going that route. But anyways, but yeah, no, none of us have ever been possessed or we've never had anything.
Do I believe it's possible?
Yeah,
of course,
sure.
I do believe that. Is that something that we personally deal with? No.
I don't know. If there was something that we definitely couldn't handle, we do have groups that we can reach out
That's
to.
a good one.
And definitely get their help.
So I see Susan's comment. Grounded Paranormal, have you gone to the Hinsdale house? And if so, what was your experience?
Many times. Many
times.
She's gotten scratched. He's gotten scratched. I've gotten pushed.
The other thing is when...
the psychic medium saw the Indians outside.
Yeah.
They were just watching us. There was only one that would actually approach the house, but she wouldn't go in the house. She would approach it. But the rest of them just stayed back in their horses, and they were still doing what they were doing, she said, but they just stayed back.
Now, when we were setting up, I was walking through the living room, and I was actually walking next to the couch where that couch had an actual exorcism happen on that couch. I was walking past it, and all of a sudden you could hear it and feel it. It sounded like a bowling ball had dropped to the floor right behind my feet. And I look around quick and I'm like, what was that? Like, there's nothing around besides that couch and a coffee table and a couple other couches.
Mm-hmm.
So we get going, and at the end of our investigation, me and her were locking up, and we noticed someone must have left a pack of cigarettes on the microwave there. And the next minute just pops right off.
Wow. And I mean, not just like, it, like somebody flicked it right off and it flew on the floor. The psychic medium that we did bring, she peered up the staircase and she could see what she could see, it was brought to the house. It wasn't already on the house, or in the house itself from before. Somebody brought it there. And she said it basically looked like a kind of a worm shape. It was like a worm shape, but it had a human face on it. And it wasn't very nice. She goes, but this was brought here. Somebody brought it here. So whether people are bringing things there and leaving them, or bringing things and not realizing it, and they stay there, that has happened many times at different locations. Is Daniel aware of it? I don't know. I'm sure he might be aware of it. But, I mean, every time we go, there's always a different, it feels different. It's a different investigation and just a different kind of atmosphere.
And they may have not even conjured anything in, because we think of conjuring as like doing seances, Ouija boards and stuff like that we personally don't touch at all.
No.
But they could have had a negative attachment to them.
Right.
Went to investigate, and that negative attachment's like, okay, I like it here.
Right.
I'm going to let go of you and I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we're ever going to be for sure of.
No.
Until we actually cross over and be like, okay, this is how this works.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But.
Okay. Anthony, what do you guys use for protection?
Myself.
Michael, usually he's got a cross. And I have a cross myself.
I usually say a prayer in the beginning.
Yeah, faith and religion.
Okay. And Susan, and she said you guys keep going back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we do.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. Even if it got to the point to where my hair was being pulled and I was being pushed down the stairs, guess what? I'd still be going back to try and get some answers.
Yep.
There you go.
You want to know.
Hey, you know, try and try and try again.
Yeah, exactly. We've got to learn somehow.
Yeah. All
And
right.
if, they hurt us a little bit,
But some
It's-
people think that that's negative, though, because depending
No,
on whether it's a
not
pinch
always.
or it's a tug or
or scratch.
a scratch, that may be their only way for
Of
them to be
communication.
able to communicate with us.
Right.
And it may seem violent towards us, but to them, it's like, okay, this is the only way I'm going to get my point across
Mhm.
and try to communicate. So that's why, like, if I get scratched or someone feels something, I don't instantly go, oh, it's something demonic or, oh, it's something
Because
negative.
we all know everybody does that, especially when
Right.
you're on a live and stuff. Oh, I think it's a demonic entity. It's like, come on, stop it. Just quit it right now. Okay. There are different ways that people reach out and touch you. And if it's a scratch, because that's their only way of getting your attention, then that's the only way.
Just like how a stranger.
Okay. Anthony, I think he meant what faith are you guys called for protection?
We're mostly just Christian.
Okay, cool. Yeah, buddy. All right, Anthony, is there any more questions you have for these guys? Since you managed to get on here late, buddy. Hey, all the guys, believe it or not, everybody that I talk to, I've met through a podcast, they come out to be really good people.
Yep.
I've met Mary Ann and her husband and Tyler. We went to the OP Powell house, which very interesting house. And Anthony, and they're actually having an event there in October with, me, Anthony, Mary Ann and her husband, and another team out of San Antonio. We're all headed up there, to do this event.
Nice.
And, and like you said, Jennifer, it's all about pair unity.
Yep.
Leave. They come together as one. Leave all the negativity at the door.
Exactly.
Come in. Let's have some fun.
That's what's so nice about the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash is because people from all over will come to that event, and we have the best weekend. It's our chance to be able to investigate with other teams and,
and just to get to know people from all over the country.
Huge family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about the paranormal field is because you create such great bonds with so many people, and to be able to bounce off ideas from one another to just help each other grow. That's what makes it fun.
Yep.
That's what makes you want to keep going is when you find more things that you're able to do that you didn't know you were able to do.
Right. Because you get ideas from other teams that what they're doing and they get ideas from you and you just,
exactly.
Don't get me wrong.
Part,
there's still differences.
Yes,
some people are, stuck on one thing while someone's stuck on another idea, but there's no reason why we can't meet in the middle.
Right. Now, Jennifer and your husband in the back, young lady, you might be a little too young for this TV show, but you guys remember Kolchak? Kolchak.
Yeah.
He was the first TV paranormal investigator that came on in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, we would watch YouTube videos on that.
Okay, well, I have a gentleman from South Texas who does the exact, that's his mentor. He does that. He investigates the same way. Okay, you remember those 1983? Uh, what are those things called? You put on the strap, and he had it on his side, and he always used it to record with, like a
It was
what was
like a
those things?
holster, kind of like a
Well, I
holster.
can't remember that little video recorder he had. He had the little tape deck, and you
Tape
press play.
recorder. Yep.
The tape recorder, he had, and that's the way this guy investigates to this day. He doesn't have any.
I have it.
Hey, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't use any of this high tech stuff, and
Yeah.
that's what I like about this guy.
If you remember these, the little
Yep.
tapes, well, we used to have a little recorder, and that's what we first started using.
Yep.
But some people think that you need these big, expensive pieces of equipment when you really don't.
No.
You don't need these.
You can use your camera phone, on your
Yeah.
phone. You can, if you
Yeah.
get a decent recorder, voice
you know,
recorder,
yeah, voice
that's
recorders,
the definite, go-to
flashlights,
start.
Certain flashlight sessions
Yeah.
you can do. Digital voice recorder is probably like your number one.
Because you're always going to get more audio than you
Yeah,
are.
and you know what? I blame back. We had that conversation about 20 minutes ago. All that expensive stuff goes back to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because that's what you see. All these teams that are on TV, that's what they got.
Yeah.
Absolutely true, man. Like you guys were saying, man. You don't have to have all that stuff. Be simple.
Yeah.
Being simple will get you some of the best evidence.
And there's a lot of times where we go back to old school stuff, where we have bells on the door handles and chalk on the chalkboard, or
baby powder on the floor.
on the floor, things like that. So we do go back,
Old school
and basics.
All those little damn cat balls I've seen to lose every week.
Yeah, she's got one too. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times, you put some sensors down, you may forget about one where you put, one of them, or it gets kicked underneath something, you didn't even notice it, So yeah, you lose equipment all the time. And unfortunately, that's the price you got to pay when you're in this field. You're going to lose flashlights. You're going to lose small sensors. You're going to lose this stuff because
Yeah.
it's not big enough to keep your eye on, So unfortunately, if you want to keep paying for it, you can. But a lot of us say, well, once it's gone, it's gone. I'm not doing
No,
it
tell me.
again.
The cheapest thing at the Dollar General store for paranormal investigators is 69 cents baby powder.
Yep.
Throw on the floor. Bam.
Or bring a couple bells on a string and put them on the door handles.
And Marianne was like, "Have you guys caught anything with that baby powder?"
No, actually, I don't think we have. It's been a while since we've used the baby powder. We did back. Well, we did Fran's house, but we also did Phelps. We did Phelps, and we did a former partner of ours who she passed away in 2018. She was part of the group. We did an investigation at her house because it used to be an old hotel. So there was a lot of stuff that was going on there. We did use the baby powder there. There were just like scratches through it, but there were no prints. We couldn't see any prints, but there were scratches through it. Because once you put it down, you want to be very careful that there's no AC on, there's no fans on, none of that, because it really messes things up. So we had everything shut off, and we did it through a door section where there was supposed to be a lot of activity going on. And there were just like scrapes, almost like somebody took a pencil and just put a few lines in it, and that was it. And that's all we got from that. But we haven't used baby powder in quite some time because a lot of places don't allow you to use the baby powder.
Yes, it gets such a big mess.
Yeah, it is a big mess, and you got to clean it up. So yeah, a lot of times we'll just leave like, a car on the floor, and we'll put tape around it or a ball. But you want to make sure you have its boundaries, because if it moves, then, you've got a little bit of evidence there.
And to Anthony's question, have we tried the Estes method?
Yes.
Yes, we try and
Many
do that
times.
almost every investigation, depending on timing. But we normally do it within every investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey, Anthony, one more question for you guys. How far are you willing to go to get evidence?
How far to get evidence?
I guess what does he mean by that?
Like-
how far will
Yeah,
we?
how far are
We'll
you guys
provoke,
willing to
if
go to
that's
get
what
evidence?
it means. We will not provoke. We just kind of let it flow. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're willing to speak with us, they are, and if not, we respect it. Like when we were down in Gettysburg, I went out to the slaughter pen with a couple teammates, and I had my SB7 going, and I was doing a little session there, and it said strangers. I said, I know we're strangers. I said, but I want to get to know your story. I said, I want you to tell me what happened here. And so I was asking questions, and I kept going, and all I heard was a man say, leave. And I said, okay. I said, if you want me to leave, I said, at least say goodbye. And he said goodbye. And I was like, okay, fully respect it, turned off all the equipment and walked away. You know, because that's what we do. We just want to respect them as much as possible. So if he means like provoking wise, that's a no-go for us. We will not provoke and get them stirred up more than what they should be.
Yeah, we won't go
Understandable.
as far as, because that's putting our teammates in danger as well.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. It sure is.
Big.
All right. Hey, guys, it has been an hour and 45 minutes.
Wow.
Already? It doesn't seem that long.
It doesn't.
Hey, it has been a pleasure talking to you guys. I got to zoom over to Nebraska. My next podcast is in Nebraska.
Wow.
Nice.
All
But
right.
hey, I would love to have you guys back on. This time, I would like to have everybody,
Oh, yeah.
part of the team.
Sure.
And you guys have really, helped me out about if I ever want to go up to, up there and do an investigation. I know where to go. I come look for you guys.
Yep.
You guys just show me around. With enough said, tell the world how to get a hold of you guys.
Well, we're on Facebook. We have our YouTube page. We also have our groundedparanormal.com website.
Also, we have TikTok.
We have TikTok as well, so you can catch us on TikTok. We post a few posts on there when we can. So basically just groundedparanormal.com. If you want to go to the website, it has all the links for all the social media that you can go to.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. Hey, guys, go check these guys out, man. They are doing great things up there in upstate New York. So, hey, show them a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, they're friendly guys. Just reach out to them. I'm pretty sure they'll reach right back to you. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And definitely thank you for having us.
Hey, thank you guys. Hey, you guys will go down in history with me. You guys are the first one out of state that I've actually did a podcast with. So thank you. The honor has been all mine.
So Ricky asked, what's your TikTok name? It's Grounded Paranormal.
Yep, just Grounded Paranormal.
Oh, see, now they still bringing.
Yeah. We keep it as simple as possible. Groundedparanormal.com, groundedparanormal@gmail, Grounded Paranormal TikTok. That's it.
All right. Hey guys, it's been a pleasure. I know you got things to do this evening, and like I said, thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Hey, I hope you guys go out and buy those glasses because I think they will really help you guys out.
Yeah, we will talk about that more.
I mean, I really think they would because they're helping me out, free up my hands, and they're like $50, so they're not too bad, So, hey, but anyway, guys, thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Hey, if you guys know any teens up there that would like to come on the podcast, spread the love.
I will do so.
All right. Hey, you guys enjoy your evening now.
Thank you. Do the same.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. That was Grounded Paranormal from Rochester, New Mexico, New York. Hey man, I gotta get me something to drink here. But anyway, hey, I'm about to zoom over to Nebraska with Phantasm Paranormal. I got hit them up in about an hour or so. Had a good time for me to get some water, get something to drink, and set this thing up again. So in the meantime, hey, make sure you go hit that share, like, subscribe button on all my social media platforms. Yeah, let's get these numbers up, guys. The numbers are down. When the numbers are down, I'm feeling down. So hey, let's go and get those numbers up. In the meantime, like I said, I'm about to head over to Nebraska and show some love over there. In the meantime, peace.